Are you still having your online classes, Mufti Hilal?
Sorry?
Are you still having your weekly online classes?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, everything's still running full time, full track.
The only good thing now is that you don't have to travel anywhere. You can just have your
I
class.
save about 2 hours in the day.
That's good. That's good.
My commute now is about 13 steps down.
Alhamdulillah. That's a good thing. It's positive.
Yeah. Actually makes a big difference. Especially considering most of my work is on a computer anyway, so.
Your computer is probably thinking, what's going on? What's happening to me?
My computer hasn't been switched off, I don't know for how many weeks.
Okay, Sheikh, I've got the YouTube link ready. We can start in about 2 or 3 minutes. That would give everyone enough time to log in, get their pen and paper ready if they want to do that. So that will be great. I'm just forwarding this to parents now, inshallah.
I'm through.
YouTube link ready.
Here you go.
I just heard myself, Sheikh. Get their pen and paper ready. Oh. Is that
30 seconds.
Right, so as everyone is joining us now, can I firstly ask that, please do subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get around 1,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of this week. That will open up more facilities for us on YouTube, inshallah. And we do have quite a lot going on now. And when we started to create our timetable, I didn't realize it's going to be really hectic, because we went with the option of having 2-3 sessions per week, per day. The reason for that is because because not everyone would want to join every single session. They would want to maybe pick some of these different sessions that they would like to participate in. So that was the logic behind why we went with quite a few different types of lessons. So for example, on Monday, we have the choir at 3 o'clock, followed by 5:30, we have a special session on special educational needs in Islam and Madrasa. And then at 7 p.m., we have history of the Hajj through the various empires. So can you see that mix and variety of different lessons? So even if you want to attend one of those, you have that option open. And then you can attend via Zoom, which is a bit more interactive, where you can also participate live via your camera and audio. On the other side, you can join in via YouTube. And I've been told that many families, they actually put their YouTube session on their big screen, as in on the television, and they watch these sessions and participate via the chat. So you have 2 options to do that, whichever way you're comfortable with and like to join us. Jazakallah for doing that. Do share these with your family so we get more and more reward. Wa alaikum assalam to everyone. Jazakallah. So we're just going to wait another minute or so, and then we will start our session, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. While everyone's waiting, if you can just think about what we did last week, then we can do a little recap before we start, inshallah.
Absolutely. Looking at the chat, how are you, Ustad, and everyone? So again, which Ustad Zahra are you referring to? Because there are 2 Ustads here at the moment.
Oh, have you seen the YouTube, Sheikh?
Let me just go on there now, actually.
You have someone from Turkey.
Oh, mashallah. Are you sure? How are you? Do you know who this person is?
No, who is it?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Oh, this is Abdullah. We are all Abdullahs, aren't we?
Yep.
Mufti, Ustad. Zahra Ashraf, wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah. Who is Zahra Ashraf?
Zahra happens to be the daughter of Ustada Shazia.
Oh, mashallah.
Ustada Shazia happens to be the teacher of class Ayuba Suleiman Diallo, and also Fatima Sa'ad al-Khair.
FSK.
And both of those classes happen to be classes at Fatima Elizabeth Frontistery, Sheikh.
Allah. An interesting place. I'd like to visit one day.
Inshallah. Kurulus Osman Abdullah has mentioned that I am just a simple servant. That's very interesting. But simple servant, you have to give us a bit more detail to make us understand who you are. Are you from Turkey? Are you from England? Just, something like that would help.
I think the ENG is the English version.
Yep. Oh, some interesting.
We looked at hadith and what makes a hadith valid. MashaAllah. That's right. We looked at hadith, what makes a hadith valid, and how different scholars had approached this discussion.
Someone interesting has joined us on YouTube as Muhammad Patel, and he just said that he is Salih. So it's Ustad Salih.
Ustad Salih.
Yes.
Where is the Salih in the Muhammad Patel, Ustad Salih?
Because Salih means pious, so I guess the piety has been hidden in between the Muhammad and the Patel.
So we have the Salih and we have the simple servant.
Yep.
Fiza and Ibrahim, do you remember anything? What we did last week? Give me a few points. What stands out? What do you remember? Before we... Hussein as well, if you remember anything. Just type up anything that you remember. Hadith and what makes the hadith valid. Good.
Okay, Ustad Hilal.
Yep.
You are, I think we've given enough time to everyone to join us, so you can start your lesson, inshallah. I may put my screen off, so there's more focus on your screen and your PowerPoint. But I'll be in the background. Okay, Sheikh, Bismillah.
Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I hope everyone can see the PowerPoint presentation. Just going to open the chat box side. If anyone comments, we can see it as well, inshallah. Okay, so just a quick recap of what we did. We've got some comments here. So from Harith, we looked at hadith and what makes a hadith valid. From Zahra, hadith and what makes hadith valid. From Fiza and Ibrahim, how hadith are valid and how different scholars interpret it. Good. So we were looking at how interpretate. You want to go for one more attempt on that one? So yeah, so we looked at one of the sources where we get our knowledge from regarding Islam is the Quran, and another source is the Sunnah, life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we use that as a basis to extract certain rules and regulations. It's not as simple as that, unfortunately. Different scholars will have different ways of looking at hadith, and based on their method of looking at hadith, their method of understanding it, then they're going to have a different conclusion. Hussein writes how accurate a hadith is. Good. Everyone had a different criteria to determine how accurate a hadith is, whether it's accurate or not, and they use that as a basis to determine whether they're going to use that as a basis or whether they're going to use that to extract hadith, or they're not extract a ruling, or if they're not going to extract a ruling from that particular. Okay, so last week was more to do with the mechanics of fiqh. This week we're going to shift over more to the fiqh side. So last week was usulul fiqh, how things work in the background. This week we're going to go back into the fiqh. So if you remember that machine we had last week with the balls coming out at the end, that was all the fiqh and all the different rulings. So we're going to have a look at some of them today. So this lesson, inshallah, will be a lot more simple to understand, a lot more easier to follow as well, hopefully, inshallah ta'ala. And we're going to focus on purification. So we started very briefly in the first week, a brief introduction to purity, how to become pure, how to purify yourself using water, and so on. Today we're going to look at the same concept, but in a bit more detail. Okay, so impurities. There are 3 types of impurities which I highlighted in that first week. So if you were in the first week, if you came, you will have seen 3 types of impurities: physical, ritual, and spiritual. So those online, if you if you remember, if you were there in that week, just identify what are the differences between physical, ritual, and spiritual impurity. So what are we looking at? Give me some examples. What is an example of, you can either type in the chat box if you're on Zoom, or you can use the chat section on YouTube. Give me an example of physical, just write physical and an example, or ritual and an example, or spiritual and an example. So different types of impurities, and we're looking at certain examples for each type. This is going back down to that first lesson that we had right at the beginning, maybe about 3 weeks ago. There's Ibrahim, Hussein. What do you guys remember from the, or think of something that you would consider to be an impurity, and then
There's an interesting one on YouTube, Sheikh, if you would like to have a look.
Isa Yakubali, physical passing wind. SubhanAllah. Can you, Isa, I'm going to ask you a question. If you pass wind, can you capture that in a box? I want to know how physical that really is. There's a more interesting one on top of that, Sheikh. Can we go through inheritance law, please, simply?
We may be able to grant that request once we find out who Kurulos Osman Eng is.
Okay, so we have some coming up on the Zoom. Physical impurity can be going to the toilet, sweating, or blood. Okay, physical from Fiza and Ibrahim, having dirty clothes. Ritual, not having wudu before praying. Spiritual, saying inappropriate language. Isa Yaqub Ali said M, and Riaz is saying blood is physical impurity. Good. So physical impurity is something that we would consider to actually be a impurity, something dirty. You can probably touch it, you can probably feel it, you can possibly even smell it, right? Ritual is more to do with something that puts you in a ritually impure state. So it might not have any consequence in terms of a physical body, but it will result in you breaking your wudu, for example. So going to sleep, if a person goes to sleep, there's no actual physical impurity just by going to sleep. Of course, you might have a bit of a smelly mouth when you wake up in the morning, but there's no physical impurity as such. But when you wake up, you are not allowed to pray your salah until you perform wudu. So by sleeping, you've put yourself in a ritually impure state. Hussein says the spiritual impurity is doing bad actions. That's right. So spiritual is anything that can impact your inside. So doing bad actions, committing a sin, swearing at somebody, having enmity in your heart for somebody, that can all be considered under spiritual impurity. And Saif Mahmoud says dirty clothes, physical impurity. Good. Okay, so those are the three general ideas. Physical, like blood, maybe urine. Ritual, anything that breaks your wudu. Spiritual, probably an ailment of the heart, a defect in the heart that needs to be worked on from a spiritual perspective. Now, I'm going to zoom in a bit on the physical. Okay, so we're going to zoom in a bit on the physical and link that to ritual. And we want to identify what is actually a physical impurity and what is not. Because, for example, someone said having dirty clothes is a spiritual impurity. Someone said sweating is a physical impurity. So we're going to have a look at that. How do we determine what is physical impurity, what is not? So we've got a few examples here. What can you identify? Which physical impurities can you identify on this slide? Again, using your chat box. Vomiting. Harith says vomiting. Okay, that's one of the three. Being sick or picking your nose. There's an Ibrahim puking and picking your nose. Again, blood, good, picking your nose. Right, so we have 3 physical impurities here, right? We have blood, farting. Juwaria Hamid, where do you see farting on this slide? Juwaria Hamid, where on this side do you see farting? Oops. You see that oops might be the farting. But you're right, if you go back into the previous slide, there was a ritual impurity, farting, yes. Okay, so on this slide, we have blood, we have vomiting, you have picking your nose. Now, picking your nose is dirty. And when a bogey comes out at the end of your finger, that is actually something quite dirty. But is it from an Islamic perspective a physical impurity? Now remember, a physical impurity is something which, if I have it on me, I can't pray my salah. Okay? So physically, if you have blood in your clothes, you can't pray your salah. If you have a stain or vomit, you can't pray your salah. Is that also going to apply to a bogey that has come out of your nose? What do you think? Do you think it will fall under a religiously physical impurity? Question after your yes. Be confident, Zahra. Type that yes again without a question mark, put an exclamation mark. There you go, cats. I like that. Yes, it is, Zahra says. What do you guys think? Hussein, what do you think? Do you think if I have so many bogeys on my clothes, I won't be able to pray salah? Yes, because it has come from your body. Okay. To Fiza, I'm going to ask you then, what about if I have some saliva that has come out of my mouth and it's on my hand? That's come from my body also. Is that going to break my... Is that going to stop me from praying salah? Saif Mahmoud says no. Okay, Saif Mahmoud, why don't you think it's dirty though, isn't it? The bogey is dirty. So it's an impurity. So I'm sure that should stop me from being able to pray my salah. Arif, what do you think about this one? What is the factor that we're looking at? How do you determine what is going to be an actual impurity that's going to stop me from praying salah? Everyone's given up. We have more participants. Safia Kassam, what do you think? Do you think picking your nose and having a bogey at the end of your finger is going to stop you from being able to pray salah? No more comments? But remember, go back to our machine that we have into the machine, Quran and Hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, there's a distinction that we need to make here. Okay, 1 second before I go on to that. Fiza says, if it's something that stains you, then you cannot pray, I think. Okay. It's dry and bogeys are very small, says Saif Mahmoud. I like your explanation. It's dry and bogeys are small, so that won't stop me from being able to pray salah. Okay, so let's break it down like this. There are many things in the world that are dirty, or what we might consider to be dirty. And you might look at that and think, ugh, gross. But that doesn't necessarily mean from a religious perspective, it's going to be impure, okay? So it might be dirty, but not everything dirty is going to be a physical impurity from an Islamic perspective. And how are we going to identify what's a physical impurity from an Islamic perspective? Go back to our machine, the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those two things will inform us what is actually a physical impurity. Quran and Hadith, good. Hussein, well done. So the Quran and Hadith tell us that blood is impure. Also tells us that vomiting is impure, but we haven't been told that bogeys are actually an impurity, though that doesn't mean they're clean. We may consider them to still be dirty, but they're not necessarily a physical impurity, so it won't prevent you from praying salah. So I just wanted to draw that distinction, because I remember even in the first lesson some students mentioned like mud or soil is dirty. And it's true, when you go out and you roll around in the mud and the soil, your clothes do get dirty, But there, we have to differentiate between what Islamically is considered an impurity and what is considered dirty generally. Okay, so does that make sense? If that makes sense, then you understand this breakdown, like the Fatima Elizabeth vomiting. Okay, if that makes sense and you understand the breakdown, just give me a yes, 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 why. And if you're still confused, then you can just put a lot of question marks. Okay, so we have a few yeses coming in. That's good. So yeah, just something to understand that not everything we consider to be dirty is going to be impure. Okay, but I did say here that blood is impure, right? So blood is a physical impurity. And we've been told in the Quran that it's dirty and impure and you need to avoid it. We've been told by the Prophet ﷺ that it's dirty and impure. But now the question I'm going to ask you, neither is sweat. Yes. Okay, good point. Isa Yaqub Ali. Sweat, again, is something that you might consider to be dirty, right? So if a person is really sweaty, you're going to consider that person to be dirty. You need a shower. But it's not an impurity from an Islamic perspective. So if you were playing football, for example, for half an hour, extremely sweaty, and then it's time for salah, and in the middle of the match, everyone has a break, praise their salah, the salah will still be valid because it's not an impurity, though you might consider yourself to be dirty. Same if you have muddy shoes or muddy trousers on. So thank you for bringing that up, Isa. That's a good point. Okay, now we said that blood is an impurity, though. So we know blood is an impurity. But the question I want to ask you now is, we have blood inside us from head to toe. Does that mean we are impure? Are we always impure? And does that mean our wudu is always broken? Because we're just constantly impure. There's a link I want to draw here first. Remember this point. Anything or a physical substance which breaks your wudu will also be impure. A physical substance which breaks your wudu will also be impure. Okay, so for example, when you bleed, we covered this last time, that when you bleed, that breaks your wudu. So that means blood is impure. When you go to the toilet, your wudu breaks. So that means urine is impure. So now, how do we deal with this problem of blood? We have blood inside us, running through us all the time. That means we're impure every single time. And that means we can't ever pray salah because we're always impure. Unless you have an operation and have all the blood taken out of your body, and they clean you up and they polish you down, and then you pray your salah, and then once you finish praying, they then pump all of that blood back into you. Saif Mahmood says, when it comes out like a nosebleed, then it breaks your wudu. Okay, so what about when it's inside your body? Is it not an impurity then? But it's blood. Blood is dirty. A confident no, as when we are bleeding, it dries up on you. So you say a confident no. So that means we're not always impure. So is it to do with when it's inside us and when it's outside? Is that what you're trying to say? Like Saif Mahmood, he says when it comes out of the body. When it is inside, it's good. Okay? And when it's outside, I guess it's bad. That is correct. So, oh, 1 second. We are not impure all the time because blood is touching things that are impure. We are not impure all the time because blood is touching things that are impure. As you need blood, says Zahra. Need blood. Cool. Okay, let's have a look at this. So here, you have a finger with a bit of blood coming out. And you are right. You are all right. Just before we move on, Isa says blood and urine is produced inside the body. Okay, good. So blood in itself isn't always impure. We're going to consider it impure, as you guys mentioned, when it leaves the body. So blood is actually pure, but as soon as it comes out of the body, it's now moved away from its original place. It's not where it should be. It should be moving around inside your body. It's not meant to be on the outside of your finger. It's not meant to be on the table or on the floor. It's meant to be inside you. That's where the blood's meant to be. So as long as it's inside you, it's actually pure. But when it comes out of you, that's when it starts to become impure. And that's when you also break your wudu. And like Isa said, same with urine. So because it's inside you and it's where it should be, then it's pure. But as soon as it leaves your body and it's gone somewhere else, that automatically breaks your wudu and it becomes impure. So no, we are not always impure every single second of the day because we have blood running around us. The same applies to vomiting. So isn't vomiting just food going the wrong way? And the food was pure. So if I'm eating a twirl, chocolate, the chocolate's pure. I eat the chocolate, it goes into my body, and then I vomit and it comes out. Why is it now impure all of a sudden? Why has it now become impure? By the way, identify which one you are. Are you number 1, 2, or 3 on this chart? Are you the one that eats bread and buns and is quite healthy? Are you number 2 that likes to eat burgers? Or are you number 3 that likes to eat a lot of nuts and is even more healthier? I think I know where I fall, but I'm not going to tell you guys. The food is supposed to be digested in your stomach to give you energy. Okay, that's a good point. It's not in the right place. Good. It's meant to be going inside you. But here what's happening, it's actually coming out. So if you notice, imagine this person here. The food, this burger here, imagine it's outside the body, right? It's here. It's pure. And you put it into the mouth and it's pure. It's gone in pure. Something must happen in the body because when the person goes to the toilet, it's impure again. So it starts off pure, and when it comes out, it's impure. Similarly, if it comes out the throat and if it comes out the mouth, it is also going to be impure. So these are considered impurities. Okay. Saif Mahmood is 1 and 2. So he likes to have a bit of bread with his burger. Is that the bun? So you're definitely not a nut and seed person. You don't like to eat nuts and seeds. Okay, so let's have a look at this. When does this person's, now if a person vomits, when does their wudu actually break? So I want you guys to have a look at this slide and tell me what is the difference between these 3 people. What is the difference between 1, 2, and 3? They're all vomiting or close to vomiting. I will say some of them, their wudu does not break, and some of them, their wudu breaks. And I will say some of them, 1 and 3, do not have vomit coming out of their mouth. Good. Okay. So what's the conclusion on that? 1 is stopping the vomit, 2 is letting it out, and 3 is waiting. 3 is waiting to vomit. That's true, actually. 3 doesn't look like it has its mouth filled. The one who is vomiting is impure. 1 is holding in, so there's wudu is not broken. Okay, interesting. And number 2, so there's 2 things to work out now. Is the vomit impure or is it not impure? Now, for example, look at number 1. Let's look at person number 1. They're able to hold it in. They've only maybe a little bit sometimes when you eat, or if things have gone wrong, or if you've been on a swing and you've gone upside down, a little bit might just come out of your throat and come back into your mouth. But it's not so much like number 2, the person number 2. It's just a little bit that's come back into the mouth. Has that person's wudu broken? If a little bit comes back into the mouth. Has the person's wudu broken? What do you think? Isa's dad. Does that mean Isa is not there and it's just Isa's dad, Qasim? Or are you saying that you are one of these people? No, because it has not come. No, as when you are, sorry, no, because it has not completely left the body. No, as when you're vomiting, it all goes out. Yes, because the vomit has still come out. Oh, I like this. Now there's a difference of opinion because your machines are different. So Fiza is saying the vomit has still come out of the throat into the mouth, so the wudu has broken. Whereas Zahra is saying no, wudu is not broken. So now I need you to solve your dispute that you have with each other. Who's right? Is it Fiza or is it Zahra? Fiza said it's come past the throat, it's in the mouth, that means wudu is broken and it's impure. Zahra saying nope, it's not broken. Arif is also saying it's not broken because it's not completely left the mouth. Isa is baking, mashallah. I hope we're going to get a taste of what Isa is baking, inshallah ta'ala. Oh, look at that comment. Ustad Hilal is right because he knows. But I haven't given an answer. That's true. Juwaria, you're very quiet. You haven't given me any answers. What's your answer? What do you think? Are you on Fiza's side? Are you on Harith and Zahra's side? Juwaria Hamid, which side are you on? We're going to wait for Juwaria to answer and then we're going to quickly move on. Come on. It has left the throat. I'm not sure. I'm switching sides. Zahra, why don't switch sides? Stick to your own side. Okay, so yeah, let me just solve the problem here. Now, those jurists that had a look at this problem and dilemma, they also wanted to work out what is happening. At which point does a person's wudu break? And at which point does this liquid that is coming out of the throat become impure? So they came up with a principle and they said, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to have a limit and we're going to call it the mouthful limit. Okay. Saif Mahmood, sorry. It depends on how much vomit is in your mouth. Okay, so I'm going to work with that. It's called the mouthful limit. So for example, Zahra switching back now. It's too late now. You switch sides and you switch sides in caps. So we're going to put you on the other side. If, for example, like number 2, you're not able to hold it in and it's just so much that it forces its way out, then that vomit is going to be impure. And number 2, the person's wudu is going to be broken. However, if it's only a little bit that's coming to the mouth from the throat, okay, then that's number 1, that's not going to be impure. And number 2, it's not going to break your wudu. Okay, so that's the barrier and the parameter that we're going to work with. That's the boundary that we're going to work with. We're going to call it the mouthful limit. But if it's a mouthful, meaning it's made its way through your mouth and it's just burst open. Sometimes in fests, you have these bad incidents where you go into the bathroom and unfortunately somebody's had a big mouthful incident and it's just everywhere. So that breaks your wudu and is impure. But if it's the other way and it's just a little bit in your mouth, that doesn't break your wudu and doesn't become impure. So does that make sense? Fet, not fest. Ooh. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, so we've covered a few impurities. Oh, yes.
Yes. I don't think apology will suffice. On Monday at 3 p.m., we'll wait for you in the choir session, inshallah.
Oh, subhanAllah. I might sing FEC instead of FEP.
The Zahra has also mentioned it.
I'm a firm believer in FEC. I've connected with it too strong.
I think in that case, we're firmly going to be waiting for you.
I'm not ready for change.
No, you're going to be joining the choir, Sheikh.
Oh, look, Sheikh, we also have Fiza on my side. I agree with Mufti, FEC all the way. It's Sunnah. Is FEC Sunnah? Is the choir Sunnah? They can always just do their wudu. I don't see the problem with that. Huh? They can do the wudu. But we're just trying to work out at which point are we going to say It's Ustada Aisha saying FEC. Okay, apologies.
And just to finally add, Ustad Aisha, see you on Monday, 3 p.m. as well for the choir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As they say, and on that bombshell. Okay, so yeah, so that's the parameter that we're going to work with. So blood, when does it break your wudu? If it comes out of your body and it's moved away from where it should have been. And vomit, when it's a mouthful that it's actually broken through the barrier of your mouth and your lips were no longer able to contain it. And like number 2, it just went out of control. But that's when your wudu is broken. I just wanted to highlight some facts. So we've covered a few things. We've covered vomit, we've covered blood, we've covered urine. Those kind of things all break your wudu. Now, these are impurities that come out of your body. What if you are in danger and blood comes? Can you elaborate on that, please, a bit, Zahra? Zahra said, what if you're in danger and blood comes out? Mehreen Ahmed said, Assalamu alaikum, vomiting in mouthful breaks the wudu. Thank you. Well done. That is correct, Mehreen Ahmed. If you get shot, yes, unfortunately, if you get shot and blood comes out of your body, then your wudu has still broken. But at that moment, you may need to do tayammum because it might be too hard for you to do wudu. But I think your priority at that time will be to try and get to an ambulance. Okay, moving on. These are impurities that are all, we've only looked at impurities that are part of your body, right? Vomit, blood, and so on. We're now going to look at some other impurities that may not be part of your body. So we've got a few here, suggestions. So some of these look a bit crude. So what do we have in the corner? Top left. Peppa Pig, Peppa. Yeah, the pig pot, that's right. So in Islam, pigs are considered impure. So if it comes into contact with your clothes, it needs to be washed. Similarly, in the bottom left, we have alcohol, wine. These are also considered impure. Unsure animal. What do you mean by unsure? Do you mean unpure, impure animal? Touching an unsure animal. What is number 3? What's the little sheep in the middle with its eyes crossed out? Dead animal. Good, that's right. So in Islam, there are certain ways of sacrificing an animal. And when you sacrifice an animal in that way, how it should be, then all parts of the animal now become pure. Well, 99.99% of the animal becomes impure, becomes pure. However, if you find a dead animal lying on the road, that animal is now going to be impure. So these are certain impurities that are from outside of our body. And on the last one in the top right-hand corner, you have a dog with its saliva. And there's a bit of difference amongst different scholars regarding the dog and the saliva. We mentioned Imam Malik last time. So, and then you have Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Shafi'i. So they had differences of opinion, and most of them said dogs are impure if they come into contact with you. So their sweat, their saliva, and so on are also impure, will need to be washed. Do you have to say Allahu Akbar before you kill the animal? What if you accidentally drive over it and then change your tire and you can't do wudu, right? Okay, do you need to say Allahu Akbar? You need to take Allah's name when you sacrifice the animal. It doesn't have to be Allahu Akbar, but you do need to take Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name. If you accidentally drive over it and then you change your tire, then you can't do wudu. Okay, now this is interesting because what we're going to do is we have to make a distinction here between impurity on your body and having to do wudu. Just because something impure is on your body, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have wudu. So for example, let me give you 2 scenarios. Case number 1, Zahra had a nosebleed, okay? And now she has a bit of blood at the bottom of her nose and maybe on the end of her finger. Does she have wudu and is her finger pure? Answer those 2 questions. Does she have wudu And is her finger pure? What do you think? My finger is not pure, okay. And do you have wudu? No, you don't have wudu either. Good, that's right. Because the blood has come out of your body, so that breaks your wudu. And it's on your body, so that means you're impure. You need to wash away that impurity. Okay, no, it's not pure because it has left the body. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you case number 2. Case number 2 is Zahra is walking down the street. No, she's not walking down the street. I'm going to give you, Zahra, I'm going to give you your own example. Zahra is driving down the road and she drives over an animal and she squashes the animal and all the blood is all over her tire. And then as she's driving, her tire gets punctured. She needs to get out of her car. She needs to change her tire. And as she changes her tire, some of the blood from the tire goes onto her clothes. Okay. She didn't have a nosebleed. The blood from the tire just went onto her clothes. Now, has her wudu broken and is her clothes pure or not? Answer those 2 questions. Has her wudu broken and is her clothes pure or not? Are her clothes pure or not? Mehreen, so we done that one. Saif Mahmoud said no. I think that was to the last one, right? My car tire and I are not pure. Your tire and you are not pure. That is correct. Has your wudu broken though? She is impure because blood is on her body, okay? And Zahra is also saying that her wudu has broken. Saif Mahmoud, what do you think? Do you think her wudu has broken? And I'm going to wait 30 seconds for you to get this. I think it has, okay? Saif Mahmoud thinks I think it has broken. Faiza, what do you think? Or Hussein, or Juwaria, or Safia, or anybody else that's online? Her clothes are not pure, okay? And has her wudu broken? Saif Mahmoud is saying her clothes are not pure. I agree her clothes are not pure. But is her wudu broken? That's what I want to know now. Nope. Juwaria, why do you say no? Zahra said yes. Why are you disagreeing with Zahra for? That's not fair. Shazia says no. Shazia. Okay, Hussein Tahir, her wudu is broken as when blood has come out, it is impure, and if it goes on her, but the blood didn't come out of her, the blood came out of the animal. Blood has come out of it, it's impure, and it goes on her, it will be broken. Her wudu is broken because it is just like touching a person with blood on them. Did she accidentally drive over the car? I don't know. I assume that Zahra would have done this accidentally. I'm hoping she didn't drive over the animal by accident. And by the way, you've written, did she accidentally drive over the car? She drove over an animal, not a car. Qasim Yaqub Ali, wudu not broken. So we have a big ikhtilaf here. Big difference of opinion. Split opinions here. Okay, so I'm going to try and put a solution to this problem. There are 2 things we have to remember. One is wudu breaking, and one is having physical impurity on you. So one is wudu breaking, and one is having a physical impurity on you. If blood comes out of your body, that will break your wudu and put you in a ritually impure state. If blood comes out of your own body, that will put you in a ritually impure state and your wudu will break. That's a separate issue. But if you have wudu already and blood doesn't come out of your body, but you come into contact with somebody else's blood or an animal's blood, and that physically comes onto your body, your wudu has not broken because blood didn't come out of your own body. However, you will have a physical impurity on you which needs to be washed away. However, you don't have to do wudu. So I'm going to break that down again. If blood comes out of your own body, that will be the point at which your wudu has broken and you're now in a ritually impure state. But if you have wudu and you came into contact with somebody else's blood and that blood comes onto your body, your wudu doesn't break, but your clothes are now impure and they need to be washed. So as soon as you wash them, you change your clothes, you can pray your salah, and you don't have to redo your wudu. I see a very big ooh from the Imrans. I assume that means you understood. Jazakumullah khair, Ustada Shazia. Okay, so it's bad if you got it from someone else's blood because two people don't have wudu, so that's bad. No, yeah, but it doesn't break your wudu, remember that. It doesn't break your wudu. So if you've understood this breakdown that I've given, give me a yes, 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 yes. And if you don't understand, give me a no, 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 no. So we want to differentiate between two things. Let me take you back to that first slide here. Physical, ritual, and spiritual. So blood coming onto you is a physical impurity. Blood coming out of you is a ritual impurity. So blood coming onto you is physical. Blood coming out of you is ritual. If it comes onto you, you need to wash it away. If it comes out of you, you need to do wudu. Okay, I hope that breaks it down nicely. So there's a few complicated things that, alhamdulillah, I feel like we're trying to resolve and get to the bottom of. Okay, so this is the point that I was trying to make. When you have a physical impurity, it needs to be cleaned. Okay, it needs to be washed away. So this person has, oh look, Zahra, the person that got shot that you mentioned, look, they're saying, no, really, I'm okay. So that means they survived, alhamdulillah. So they've got blood on their clothes, or this person, I don't know why they have alcohol in the house. Maybe they bought a new house. And when they bought the new house, they walked in and they found that there's some alcohol stains on the carpet. What do these two people need to do? A bit of blood on their clothes, and number two, they found some alcohol on the carpet. What do we need to do now? Clean it. Yes, that's right. We need to clean it. We need to wash it away. We need to make sure that there's no more blood and there's no more alcohol. Clean it, clean it, clean it. Lol, lol, lol. Oh, what are the lols for? What did I miss? Did I miss something? Okay, wash it, wash it, wash it. That's right. So physical impurity, what is your job? Wash it. Ritual impurity, what's your job? What do you need to do if you have a ritual impurity? If you have a ritual impurity, what do you need to do? As they say, who do you call? Ghostbusters. Sorry. Wudu, that's right. So the way to clean a physical impurity is wash away the impurity. The way to clean wudu busters, nice. The way to clean a ritual impurity is to perform wudu. Cool. How much blood coming out? Ustad Qasim says, how much blood coming out makes you impure? Yeah, so what we said is as soon as it comes out of your body and it moves away from the place that it's come out of, that's gonna break your wudu. So for example, you know, sometimes you might get a graze. So if you get a graze and you can just see like little dots of blood, but it's not actually moving anywhere. It's just like a top layer of skin has come off and you have a graze and the blood is visible. Yes, the blood is visible, but it's not actually moved anywhere. That actually won't break your wudu. But once it moves and it flows away from where it should be, because at that moment it's still where it should be, right? It's still in its original place. But once it moves away and it flows a little bit, that's when it starts to break your wudu. If you have a look at this case, let's look at this fingertip. So there must be a really small prick on the end of the finger. But do you think that blood has moved away from the hole? Wait, is Ustada Shazia watching? Yes, Ustada Shazia is watching on YouTube. So, no. What if it's got a really small needle-sized prick at the end of the finger? Do you think that blood has come out of the hole and moved away from where it was? No? Really? Do you think that is the size of the needle, the amount of blood that we see on the finger? It has spread, yes. It has spread. Yes, there's a big circle that is colored in with blood, that's right. So it's moved away from where it came out from, right? So that means the person's wudu has broken. But if it was just like a graze where sometimes you walk against the wall and a bit of your skin gets scraped, it's not actually a hole, but you can just see a bit of the blood, and it's actually moved anywhere, that won't break your wudu. So that's kind of how we're going to work out. I hope that answers your question. What about alcohol hand sanitizer? Okay, just remind me, I'm just going to try and finish this off, and then I will answer that alcohol hand sanitizer question at the end, inshallah. That is an important question, actually. Okay, so let's just quickly finish this off. Impurities must be cleaned. Actually, you know what? We've only got 8 minutes. Let me leave this part for now, and we can look into this next week, inshallah ta'ala. Just to get an idea, there are certain things that are pure and purify, certain things just pure, but they don't purify, and some things are impure. And okay, we'll leave this next. Right. Alcohol hand sanitizer. So this is gonna from a Hanafi fiqh perspective, we grade alcohols into different categories, depending on what it's made from. So if the alcohol originates from grapes and dates, then we consider that to be impure. Okay, if that comes onto your body, then it's impure, and if it's on your clothes, then it also becomes impure and it needs to be washed away. And if alcohol comes from another product, if it's sourced not from grapes and dates, maybe it's synthetic alcohol or corn or any other product that's used as a source to manufacture the alcohol, then there are two opinions within the school. Okay, some consider it to be impure, whilst others consider it not to be impure. Now, some of the later jurists, what they said is because alcohol is found in a lot of products, deodorants, sprays, creams, all of these kind of products. So they use the discretion of that because it's so widely applied, and it can be at times difficult to avoid products which have alcohol in it. So based on this position within the Hanafi school, that if it's a non-date and grape sourced alcohol, there is discretion to be able to use it physically, externally on your body to apply. So because these hand sanitizers, the alcohol won't come from grapes and dates, and they're just synthetic alcohols. That's why using that position, you can, if you applied it on your hand, according to this position within the Hanafi school, it won't render your hand or your clothes impure. Okay. Zahra says, I think sanitizer is fine as you're not drinking it. And if you are, that is not good. So don't drink it or lick your hands after throwing it. I like that, Zahra. You're not meant to be, there's two things with alcohol, right? Remember, drinking is impure, drinking alcohol is impure. But at the same time, number two, it's also, drinking alcohol is haram. But at the same time, it's also an impure substance. So generally, alcohol, if it is on your body or clothes, it will be impure. However, if it's not sourced from dates and grapes, because of this additional position within the school and because of it being so commonly used in many products, later jurists have allowed it for external application. I hope that answers the question. That's why using hand sanitizers that have alcohol, where you can avoid it, you should avoid it. But if you need to, for example, now everyone needs to use a lot of sanitizer to prevent germs, the virus spreading, etc. Then there is scope to use it under that position. Use some Zamzam. Zahra's giving you a suggestion, by the way, that use some Zamzam water instead. As the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ma'u Zamzam lima shuriba lah." Zamzam water for what it has been drunk for. So make a dua and drink that Zamzam water. Okay, we're going to pause here. We're going to stop here, inshallah. Time's running up. So just to conclude, as a recap, I could have done a plenary actually, but we'll just make one up as we go. 3 types of impurities: physical, something that you need to wash away; ritual, something that actually breaks your wudu; and spiritual, it usually requires you to ask somebody for forgiveness or ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness because you've done something wrong to somebody. Physical impurities need to be washed away. There can't be any more of that impurity remaining, whereas ritual impurity is cleaned by performing wudu. And we looked at some examples of physical impurities like vomit. And we also looked at this, that not everything dirty is going to be an impurity. It might be dirty like a bogey, is dirty or mud is dirty, but that's not necessarily impure. So it doesn't mean you can't pray your salah. Things like vomiting and blood are impure. However, when they're inside your body, they're still pure. When it comes out and moves away, it will be impure. Same with vomiting. Once it comes out of your body to a mouthful where it's past your mouth and you are unable to contain it, that's when your wudu breaks, and that vomit will also be considered impure. So you can understand from there, children vomit. If it's just a small little drop of vomit that's come out, then that will also be pure. And you're not worried about the child breaking the wudu, but you're worried about whether your clothes are impure. But if it was one of those crazy vomits where everything just went crazy, then that is actually going to be impure, and that would need to be washed before salah. And then there are other impurities that haven't come from the body. So dead animals, saliva and moisture from dogs and pigs. Alcohol is also impure. Yeah. Anyone have any questions? We have like a minute if you have a question. There's a few comments that are coming. Just gonna quickly go through them. What do we have? Big circle, we've done that one. Sorry. Sanitizer is fine. Zahra's giving a fatwa there. Jazakallah khairan. Or pour some water over your hand and soil, that way you are helping in spoil. What? Or pour some water over your hand and soil, that way you are helping the soil and you. I got lost there. Sorry. Please clarify. You're helping Allah's creation. And Allah. That is very good. Sada, Aisha, or Fiza, or Ibrahim. Not sure. Everyone got it but me. The only one that didn't understand that. Oh, if you're going to wash your hands, wash it over the soil. Okay, sorry, I needed a bit of explanation there. One of those slow days. Apologies. Slow days means it's just another normal day for me. Okay, so we're going to stop here, inshallah. Well, is Ustad Hamid here? If not, I will have to end the session.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh,
yeah. Came back. Yep.
Yep. Alhamdulillah. Sheikh, we finished. We've done a quick recap on what different between physical, spiritual, ritual impurities and how to clean them, and some detailed points, finer points of how to establish when these things are broken.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah, Sheikh. Jazakallahu khairan.
Barakallah fiqh. You would like to do the concluding dua, Sheikh, and then we can go.
Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.